San Francisco was alive with the hum of ambition, its skyline a jagged silhouette against the setting sun. The city thrived on dreams, and nowhere was that more evident than in the bustling marketing firms that lined the streets. Among them, two names stood out: Blake and Company and Carter Designs. Their rivalry was legendary, one that had sparked countless debates over cocktails and boardroom meetings. Ethan Blake strode into the conference room, his tailored suit a testament to his success. He had an air of confidence that commanded attention, his dark hair perfectly styled, and his piercing blue eyes radiating determination. Today, he was ready to seal a deal that would put Blake and Company ahead of Carter Designs for good. As he reviewed his notes, the door swung open, and in walked Liam Carter. With tousled chestnut hair and a laid-back style that contrasted sharply with Ethan's polished appearance, Liam exuded a creative energy that was both refreshing and infuriating. He was known for his innovative designs and a knack for thinking outside the box, qualities that often put him in direct competition with Ethan. Ethan, Liam greeted, a hint of sarcasm lacing his tone. "I see you're still trying to impress everyone with that suit." Ethan smirked, unfazed. "And I see you're still relying on your artistic flair to get by." How quaint. Their banter was familiar territory, a dance of words that had become second nature over the years. They were like oil and water, two distinct personalities that clashed yet somehow complemented each other in the chaotic world of marketing. The meeting began, filled with presentations and discussions about upcoming campaigns. As they presented their ideas, it became clear that both men were at the top of their game. Ethan's strategy was sharp and calculated, while Liam's creativity brought a fresh perspective that left the room buzzing with excitement. After hours of back and forth, the tension reached its peak when their boss announced an industry retreat at a renowned Love Hotel on the outskirts of the city. The retreat promised networking opportunities and team-building exercises designed to foster collaboration among rival firms. "Great," Ethan muttered under his breath. "Just what I need, an excuse to spend more time with my favorite rival." Liam caught his eye and smirked. "Don't worry, I'll make sure to keep things interesting." As fate would have it, when they arrived at the hotel later that week, they discovered a booking error had forced them to share a room. Ethan's frustration bubbled to the surface as he glared at Liam. "Are you kidding me? There must be another room available," he exclaimed. Liam shrugged, an amused grin spreading across his face. "Looks like we're stuck together, Blake. Try not to snore." The room was lavishly decorated, silk sheets draped over a king-sized bed, soft lighting casting a warm glow over the space. It felt surreal, being in such an intimate setting with someone he considered not just a rival, but also an enigma. As they settled in for the evening, Ethan paced around the room, while Liam lounged on the bed with an air of nonchalance. The storm outside rumbled ominously, rain tapping against the window as if echoing the tension between them. "Why do you always have to be so smug?" Ethan finally asked, unable to contain his irritation any longer. Liam looked up from his phone, feigning innocence. "Me? Smug? I thought I was just confident." "Confidence is one thing. Arrogance is another," Ethan shot back. Liam chuckled softly. "You know what they say about confidence? It's attractive." Ethan rolled his eyes but couldn't help but feel a flicker of something else beneath their rivalry. A spark of intrigue mixed with undeniable chemistry. As night fell and darkness enveloped the hotel, they found themselves drawn into an unexpected conversation about their lives outside work, dreams, fears, and what truly motivated them in their careers. For once, it wasn't about competition. It was about connection. But just as they began to lower their defenses, a sudden power outage plunged them into darkness. The only sound was the storm outside as they fumbled for their phones to provide light. "Great timing," Ethan muttered sarcastically. "Relax," Liam replied playfully. "It's just us now." In that moment of vulnerability and uncertainty, something shifted between them. A tension charged with possibility lingered in the air as they navigated this unexpected twist of fate together. The night had only just begun. Chapter 2. Unforeseen circumstances. The storm outside intensified, rattling the windows of the Love Hotel as if nature itself was amplifying the tension inside the room. Ethan fumbled for his phone, its dim light casting eerie shadows on the walls. He glanced at Liam, who was leaning back against the plush headboard, a hint of amusement dancing in his eyes. Do you always look this relaxed during a blackout? Ethan quipped, trying to mask his own unease. Liam chuckled softly. What can I say? I thrive in chaos. Ethan shook his head, a reluctant smile creeping onto his face despite the circumstances. You're impossible. The power outage forced them into an unexpected intimacy. With no distractions, they were left to confront each other in a way that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. The air was thick with unspoken words and lingering glances, and Ethan could feel his heart racing, a sensation he hadn't expected to experience in Liam's presence. Do you think they'll fix it soon? Ethan asked, attempting to steer the conversation away from the charged atmosphere. Liam shrugged, his tone light. Who knows? We might be here all night. Ethan sighed, running a hand through his hair. Great. Just what I wanted. A night stuck with my rival in a dark room. Look on the bright side, Liam replied, his voice teasing. At least we won't have to pretend we like each other. Ethan shot him a look that was half amused, half annoyed. You really enjoy this, don't you? Absolutely, Liam said with a grin. It's not every day I get to see you flustered. As they bantered back and forth, Ethan felt something shift within him. The competitive edge that had always defined their relationship began to blur, replaced by an undeniable curiosity about the man sitting across from him. There was more to Liam than just the rival he had always seen. He was layered and complex, and Ethan wanted to peel back those layers. Tell me something, Ethan said suddenly, surprising himself with his boldness. What do you really think of me? Liam paused, considering the question. Honestly, you're infuriatingly talented, but sometimes I wonder if you care more about winning than about what we're actually creating. Ethan frowned at the accusation, but felt a strange sense of validation in Liam's words. And you think I'm just some arrogant jerk? Liam shrugged again, but there was a softness in his gaze now. I think you hide behind that arrogance because you're afraid of being vulnerable. Ethan opened his mouth to retort, but found himself at a loss for words. Was he really that transparent? The thought both annoyed and intrigued him. Before he could respond, a loud clap of thunder shook the room, causing them both to jump slightly. The momentary fear broke the tension between them, and they burst into laughter, an unexpected release that felt refreshing. Okay, Ethan said between chuckles as he tried to regain his composure. Let's play a game to pass the time. What do you have in mind? Liam asked, leaning forward with genuine interest. How about truth or dare? Ethan suggested, feeling a rush of adrenaline at the thought of pushing their boundaries even further. Liam raised an eyebrow, but nodded enthusiastically. I'm in. They took turns asking questions and daring each other to do silly things, like singing their favorite songs or impersonating their boss, which only deepened their connection as they laughed together. As the game progressed, Ethan felt himself relaxing more than he ever thought possible around Liam. The barriers they had built over years of competition began to crumble, revealing glimpses of vulnerability beneath their rivalry. Finally, it was Liam's turn again. Truth or dare? Dare, Ethan replied without hesitation, emboldened by their playful atmosphere. I dare you to tell me your biggest fear, Liam said seriously. Ethan hesitated for a moment. It was a bold move that caught him off guard. But there was something about being in this dark room with Liam that made him want to open up. My biggest fear? Ethan repeated softly. I guess it's failing at what I do. Losing everything I've worked for. Liam nodded thoughtfully. That's fair. But you know failure isn't the end of the world, right? It's just part of growing. Ethan met Liam's gaze, surprised by how sincere he sounded. For the first time, he saw not just a rival, but someone who genuinely understood him. And what about you? Ethan asked, turning the tables as curiosity bubbled within him. Liam took a deep breath before answering. I fear never being able to truly express myself. Always being seen as just the designer instead of someone who has something meaningful to say. The honesty in Liam's voice struck Ethan deeply. It resonated with him more than he could have anticipated. In that moment of vulnerability shared between them, something shifted irrevocably. A connection forged not through competition, but through understanding. As they continued their game and shared stories late into the night, neither realized how much this unexpected evening would change everything between them. The storm raged outside, but inside the Love Hotel room, a different kind of energy crackled in the air. Ethan and Liam had moved past the initial awkwardness of their situation, and the playful banter had morphed into something deeper. The darkness felt less intimidating now, almost comforting as they shared their fears and dreams. "Let's take this to the next level," Ethan suggested, his competitive spirit flaring up again. "How about we play a game of truths and dares with a twist? If you refuse to answer or complete a dare, you have to share something personal instead." Liam raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "You're really trying to push my buttons tonight, aren't you?" "Just trying to make the most of our time together," Ethan replied with a smirk. "Besides, it's not like we have anything better to do." "All right, I'm in," Liam said, leaning forward with excitement. "You go first." Ethan thought for a moment before grinning mischievously. "Truth or dare?" "Dare," Liam replied confidently. "I dare you to tell me your most embarrassing moment at work," Ethan challenged. Liam laughed, clearly enjoying the game. "Okay, but you have to promise not to judge me." "I promise," Ethan said, his curiosity piqued. "Fine," Liam began, his cheeks flushing slightly. "So, there was this one time during a big presentation. I was so nervous that I accidentally spilled coffee all over my notes right before I was supposed to present. I had to wing it without any of my material." Ethan chuckled at the image of Liam scrambling to salvage his presentation. "That's classic, but I can't believe you managed to pull it off." "I did," Liam said with mock pride, "but I'll never live it down with my team." "All right, your turn," Ethan said, feeling emboldened by their growing rapport. "Truth or dare?" Liam asked, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "Dare," Ethan replied again, eager to keep the momentum going. "I dare you to call your best friend and tell him you're having a romantic evening with your biggest rival," Liam said with a playful grin. Ethan's heart raced at the thought. "You're insane. He'll never let me live it down." "Exactly. That's the point," Liam laughed. Ethan hesitated but then grabbed his phone, feeling a mix of excitement and dread. He dialed his best friend's number and put it on speaker. "Hey man, what's up?" came the voice on the other end. Hey. So, I just wanted to let you know that I'm having a romantic evening with my biggest rival," Ethan said, trying to keep his tone light despite the embarrassment creeping in. There was a pause before his friend burst into laughter. "Wait, what? Are you serious?" "You and Liam Carter." Ethan shot a glance at Liam, who was nearly doubled over with laughter. "Yeah, it's complicated. Dude, this is epic. You have to tell me everything later," his friend exclaimed before hanging up. Ethan ended the call and turned to Liam, who was still laughing uncontrollably. "You're never letting me live that down, are you?" "Not a chance," Liam replied between fits of laughter. "But hey, at least now we have an excuse for being here together." The atmosphere shifted again as they continued their game, sharing more personal stories and secrets that revealed layers of their personalities they had never shown each other before. The competition that had once defined their relationship began to fade into the background as they discovered common ground in their ambitions and vulnerabilities. After several rounds of truths and dares filled with laughter and revelations, Ethan decided it was time for something more profound. "Okay, let's switch it up again. Let's share our biggest dreams, something we've always wanted but haven't pursued yet." Liam nodded thoughtfully. "I like that idea. You go first." Ethan took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his words. "I've always wanted to start my own agency, something that focuses on creativity over competition. A place where people can collaborate without feeling like they have to outdo each other." "That sounds amazing," Liam said sincerely. "Why haven't you done it yet?" "I guess fear of failure," Ethan admitted quietly. "I've worked so hard to get where I am now. Starting over feels daunting." Liam smiled gently. "You should go for it. You're talented enough. If anyone can make it work, it's you." Ethan felt a warmth spread through him at Liam's encouragement, something he hadn't expected from his rival. "It's your turn now," Ethan prompted. Liam hesitated for a moment before speaking again. I've always wanted to create an art installation that tells a story about love and connection. Something immersive that makes people feel emotions they might not express otherwise. Ethan was taken aback by the depth of Liam's dream. That sounds incredible. Why haven't you done it? Liam sighed softly. I've been too focused on my job and what others expect from me instead of pursuing what truly matters to me. The honesty in Liam's voice struck Ethan deeply. They were both grappling with similar fears and aspirations despite their differences as they continued sharing their dreams late into the night. Laughter mingled with moments of reflection until exhaustion began to set in. The storm outside had calmed significantly. Only soft raindrops remained as background music. Eventually, they settled into an easy silence, a comfortable quiet that spoke volumes about how much had changed between them in such a short time. Ethan glanced at Liam as he leaned back against the headboard, looking content yet contemplative. In that moment, he realized how much he appreciated this unexpected connection, a bond forged through vulnerability rather than rivalry. As sleep began to tug at their eyelids, Ethan felt a sense of peace wash over him, a feeling he hadn't expected when he first entered this love hotel room with his rival. The soft patter of rain against the window had become a soothing backdrop as Ethan and Liam drifted into a peaceful slumber. The tension that had once filled the room had transformed into a warm camaraderie, and for the first time, both men felt at ease in each other's presence. Ethan awoke to the faint glow of dawn filtering through the curtains, casting a gentle light across the room. He blinked a few times, trying to shake off the remnants of sleep. As he turned to glance at Liam, he found him still asleep, his features relaxed and serene. There was something disarming about Liam in this moment, his competitive edge softened by the vulnerability they had shared the night before. Ethan felt a sudden urge to capture this moment. He quietly reached for his phone and snapped a candid photo of Liam, who stirred slightly but didn't wake. The sight made Ethan smile. It was a reminder of how much he had come to appreciate Liam's company. That a few minutes later, as if sensing Ethan's gaze, Liam opened his eyes and smiled sleepily. "What time is it?" he mumbled, rubbing his eyes. "Early," Ethan replied, trying to keep his tone light. "But I couldn't resist capturing your beauty in the morning light." Liam chuckled, clearly amused. "You're laying it on thick already." Ethan shrugged playfully. "I'm just stating facts." They both got out of bed and decided to grab breakfast from room service. As they waited for their order, the atmosphere shifted again. There was an unspoken tension hanging in the air, one that hinted at something deeper than friendship or rivalry. "About last night," Liam began hesitantly, breaking the silence. "Yeah?" Ethan prompted, his heart racing slightly. "I really enjoyed opening up to you," Liam said, his voice steady but soft. It felt different. Ethan nodded slowly, feeling a lump form in his throat. "It did. I didn't expect to connect with you like that." Liam met his gaze directly, and for a moment, the world outside faded away. "I've always seen you as this untouchable force in our industry, someone I could never measure up to. But last night changed that for me." Ethan felt a rush of warmth at Liam's honesty. "I've always thought you were incredibly talented. I guess I just let my competitive nature blind me to that." Before they could delve deeper into their conversation, there was a knock at the door announcing the arrival of their breakfast. They quickly broke eye contact and moved to open it, laughter bubbling between them as they set up the table as they ate. Their conversation flowed easily from one topic to another: work projects, favorite movies, and even childhood memories. Each shared story deepened their connection further until Ethan felt an urge to bring up something more personal. "Liam," he started cautiously, "what do you think love really is?" Liam paused mid-bite and looked thoughtful for a moment before answering. "I think love is about vulnerability, allowing someone to see you completely and accepting them for who they are." Ethan considered this carefully. "That's pretty profound." "Thanks," Liam replied with a hint of shyness. "But I think it's also about finding someone who challenges you and helps you grow." Ethan felt his heart race at Liam's words. They resonated with him on a level he hadn't expected. "I've always been afraid of letting anyone in because I thought it would make me weak." Liam leaned forward, his expression earnest. "It doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. Everyone has fears and insecurities. Their eyes locked again, and Ethan could feel an electric charge in the air between them, a magnetic pull that made it hard to breathe. Maybe we could help each other, Ethan suggested tentatively. What do you mean? Liam asked, curiosity flickering in his eyes. I mean, maybe we could explore this connection we have, Ethan said carefully. I know we started as rivals, but now, I don't know what this is yet. Liam's gaze softened as he processed Ethan's words. Are you saying you want to date? Ethan felt his cheeks flush at the directness of Liam's question, but nodded slowly. Yeah, if you're oh. The sun hung high in the sky, casting a warm glow over San Francisco as Ethan and Liam strolled through the hotel grounds. The air was fresh and invigorating, a stark contrast to the tension that had once defined their relationship. They walked side by side, their shoulders brushing occasionally, sending electric sparks through Ethan's body as they made their way toward a small garden area filled with vibrant flowers. Ethan couldn't shake the feeling of exhilaration that coursed through him. It was as if the world had shifted overnight, and he was finally seeing everything in a new light, especially Liam. Can you believe we're actually doing this? Ethan asked, glancing sideways at Liam, who wore a contented smile. I can, Liam replied, his tone light yet sincere. I think we both needed this. It's like we've been dancing around each other for years. Ethan nodded, recalling all the moments of rivalry that had led them to this point. It's funny how things can change so quickly. They found a bench nestled among the flowers and sat down, the warmth of the sun enveloping them. For a moment, they simply enjoyed the peaceful atmosphere, taking in the beauty around them. Okay, Ethan said after a brief silence. What now? We can't just go back to being rivals after this. Liam turned to him, his expression serious yet hopeful. I don't want to go back to that. I want to see where this goes, whatever this is. Ethan felt his heart race at Liam's words. Me too. But what about our jobs? The competition? Liam shrugged, his gaze unwavering. We'll figure it out as we go. We've both been so focused on beating each other that we forgot what it means to support one another. Ethan smiled at that thought. It felt liberating to consider a partnership instead of rivalry, a chance to grow together rather than apart. Let's make a pact, Ethan suggested impulsively. No matter what happens in our careers, we'll always be honest with each other about how we feel. Liam's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. I like that idea. Honesty first. They sealed their pact with a firm handshake, laughter bubbling up between them again as they realized how silly yet meaningful the gesture felt. As they continued talking about their dreams and aspirations, Ethan noticed how easy it was to share his thoughts with Liam now, how their connection had deepened overnight. It was as if all the barriers had crumbled away, leaving behind something raw and genuine. Eventually, they decided to head back inside to prepare for the day's activities at the retreat. As they walked through the hotel corridor, Ethan felt an undeniable urge to take Liam's hand, an instinct he couldn't ignore any longer. With a quick glance around to ensure no one was watching, he reached out and intertwined his fingers with Liam's. The simple act sent shivers down his spine as warmth spread through him. Liam looked at him in surprise but didn't pull away. Instead, he squeezed Ethan's hand gently, a silent agreement passing between them. Let's keep this between us for now, Liam said softly as they entered the main hall where everyone had gathered for breakfast. Agreed, Ethan replied, feeling both nervous and excited about their secret. The morning passed in a blur of team-building activities and networking sessions. They participated in icebreaker games and discussions about industry trends while stealing glances at each other from across the room. Each shared smile felt electric, a reminder of their newfound connection. During one particularly dull presentation on market strategies, Ethan found himself zoning out until he caught sight of Liam doodling in his notebook, a habit he had noticed before but never truly appreciated until now. The way his brow furrowed in concentration made Ethan's heart flutter. Afterward, during a break, they slipped outside onto a balcony overlooking the city skyline. The view was breathtaking. San Francisco sprawled beneath them like a vibrant canvas painted with life. This is amazing, Liam said, leaning against the railing and soaking in the scenery. Ethan stood beside him but couldn't help but focus on Liam instead. The way the sunlight caught his hair and illuminated his features made him look almost ethereal. Yeah, Ethan agreed quietly, feeling bold enough to lean closer. But it's even better with you here. Liam turned to him, surprise flickering across his face before it melted into something softer, something more intimate. You really mean that? Absolutely, Ethan replied earnestly. I never thought I could feel this way about someone I once considered my rival. Liam smiled warmly, and for a moment, time seemed to stand still between them. The noise of the retreat faded into nothingness as they stood there, two men on the brink of something beautiful and new. Just then, one of their colleagues called out from inside, breaking the spell that had enveloped them. They both turned reluctantly back toward the group, but not without sharing one last lingering glance filled with promise. As they rejoined their colleagues for more activities throughout the day, Ethan felt lighter than ever before, like he was finally stepping into a new chapter of his life alongside someone who understood him like no one else ever had. But as evening approached and they prepared for dinner, a formal affair meant for networking, Ethan couldn't shake off an underlying sense of anxiety about what lay ahead for them both professionally and personally. Would they be able to navigate this new relationship amidst their competitive careers? Could they truly support each other without letting ambition get in the way? As he looked over at Liam across the crowded room, a man who had become so much more than just a rival, Ethan found himself filled with hope rather than fear. Whatever challenges awaited them in their professional lives would pale in comparison to what they were building together, a bond forged through honesty and understanding that could withstand anything thrown their way. The evening of the formal dinner arrived, and atmosphere buzzed with excitement and anticipation. The hotel ballroom was elegantly decorated, with soft lighting casting a warm glow over the tables adorned with fresh flowers. Ethan stood at the entrance, adjusting his tie nervously as he scanned the room for Liam. When their eyes finally met, Ethan felt a rush of warmth flood through him. Liam looked sharp in a fitted suit that accentuated his lean frame, his hair styled just right. There was something undeniably magnetic about him tonight, and Ethan couldn't help but smile. Ready to face the crowd? Liam asked, stepping up beside Ethan. More like ready to hide. Ethan replied with a nervous laugh. This whole networking thing is not my favorite. Liam chuckled, nudging him playfully. Just stick by me. We'll navigate this together. As they entered the ballroom, Ethan felt the weight of their new relationship settle over him like a comforting blanket. They mingled with colleagues, exchanging pleasantries and discussing industry trends while stealing glances at each other when they thought no one was watching. Throughout dinner, they shared jokes and whispered comments that made them both laugh, creating an intimate bubble amidst the larger gathering. But as the evening progressed, Ethan couldn't shake off the feeling of apprehension that lingered at the back of his mind, that he watched as their colleagues networked effortlessly, exchanging business cards and discussing potential collaborations. The competitive nature of their industry loomed large, and Ethan worried about how their relationship would fit into this landscape. Are you all right? Liam asked quietly, noticing Ethan's distracted demeanor. Yeah, Ethan replied, forcing a smile. Just thinking about everything, work, us. I don't want this to complicate things. Liam tilted his head slightly, concern etched on his face. Ethan, we knew this wouldn't be easy, but I believe we can make it work if we're honest with each other. Ethan nodded slowly, appreciating Liam's reassurance. You're right. I just need to remember that we're in this together. As dinner concluded and the group transitioned to a more relaxed atmosphere for mingling and dancing, Ethan felt a surge of determination wash over him. He wanted to embrace this new beginning, not just in his relationship with Liam, but also in how he approached his career. Let's dance, Ethan suggested suddenly, surprising himself with his boldness. Liam raised an eyebrow but grinned widely. Are you sure? I didn't know you had moves. Just follow my lead, Ethan said playfully as he took Liam's hand and led him to the dance floor. As they joined others swaying to the music, Ethan felt a rush of exhilaration. They moved together seamlessly, Liam's hand resting on Ethan's waist while Ethan's fingers entwined with Liam's as they danced close. For a moment, It felt like they were the only two people in the room. The music faded away as they lost themselves in each other's eyes, feeling free from the pressures of their professional lives outside this moment. "I can't believe we're doing this," Liam said softly, leaning closer so only Ethan could hear. "Neither can I," Ethan admitted, feeling vulnerable yet exhilarated. "But it feels right." As the song ended and another began to play, a slower tune that enveloped them in warmth, Ethan pulled Liam closer still. Their bodies moved in rhythm as they swayed gently, hearts beating in sync. "I want you to know that I'm all in," Liam said quietly, his breath warm against Ethan's ear. "Whatever happens next, work or otherwise, I'm committed to making this work." Ethan felt a swell of emotion at Liam's words. It was everything he had hoped for and more. "Me too," he replied earnestly. "I want us to be partners, in every sense of the word." They held each other tightly as they danced through the song, feeling the world around them fade away once more. It